That's so cool.
How's it going?
How do you?
Good.
Thought we were gonna have to start without you, Pat.
I was hoping, that's why I yelled in and said, go ahead.
Alrighty, I have 7 o'clock, so let's call the meeting to order. I'm sorry. So, formal commission actions. Approval of minutes. Is that our normal start?
Do the flag,
The flag for.
pledge allegiance.
Not on my agenda. So. Okay. Pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There you go. Okay. All right, roll call.
Ms. Dobson,
Here.
Mr. Dutzman,
Here.
Mr. Earhart,
Here.
Mr. Mitchell,
Here.
Mr. Aravello,
Here.
Mrs. Dominic,
Here.
Mr. Sly, Ms. Squire,
Here.
Mr. Welsh.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
That's all right, not it.
Okay.
Just what's shown, hold by that.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Start the voting on the left.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0. Citizen participation. It's an opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the commission. I didn't see anybody sign up, but that doesn't mean we won't give you the opportunity. Does anybody have anything that they would like to speak to us about?
Just listening.
All right. So seeing none, we'll move on to formal commission action. First item is approval of minutes from the March 2nd meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the minutes from the March 2nd meeting. Start the voting on the left.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0-1. Second item has been pulled by the applicant, so we'll move to the third item, the site application SP 62-2023 for Bedrock Concrete. Mr. Burton?
Oh, Ashley,
And I can be it.
Okay, see the respect I
That's what he
get.
does. You got this.
That's right. Good evening. Sorry I was running late. I had some more testing and just got finished up. So this is Bedrock Concrete. It's basically the northwest corner of 169 and 223rd Street. It's been M1 zoned for a long time. Back in the day, there were trailer sales there, if I remember right, truck, and there's been all kinds of stuff there. As you probably have seen, the applicant, or the owner anyway, the applicant and owner, has been doing a lot of dirt work there. And I just thought and this is the location. It's right next to the junkyard. So in the package you have, I better start off. It's about 7 acres. Yeah, 6.85 acres. We have the site plan, landscaping, elevations of the buildings and everything. So it does meet all the lot lines are identified. These are 2 separate lots that, under what they're working with the engineering on, possibly not separating them in the placement of the building and everything, because everything works out that they can have each different phase on these, or each different part on these different lots. But it might work out better for them in combining them. Engineering's still working on that, so we have nothing to do with that, as far as that goes on that part. Actually, it's 3 lots, I'm sorry. So, all the areas are identified clearly. On the site plan, you can see that the darker gravelly looking areas that head out to 223rd and then over to Columbia Road there, or Lone Elm. Yeah, Lone Elm. Thank you, Ashley. That is concrete or hard surface. Let me put it that way. It's going to be hard surface. And then, of course, out by the right-of-ways and through the right-of-way will have to be concrete. You can see that there's a future building and then there's a proposed building. The proposed building is to the west, and we have the elevations provided for you in the packet. There's a couple of different detention basins on this property. And there's a lot of doors on this building, proposed building. And at first, when we talked with them or spoke with them, they had really misunderstood myself, and it was, I just didn't make myself clear. But all entrances have to be paved all the way. There has to be hard surface on those. Now you do have which is the north side, the lighter gray areas, that is gravel allowed storage areas. I know we've received several calls and all about the drainage. I might as well just talk about that, what they're doing there and all. And everything is being inspected as it will adhere to the drainage plan. Now, that's one thing that anymore you just really can't. The state's really tough on stormwater drainage. Bless you. Their engineering, they'll have to get the engineering reports that the materials that were placed in are stable and suitable and all that, and that's a third-party engineering. Let's see what else we have. The utilities are there. They do want to place a chain link fence around, and we talked about the back storage area, but now and I'll ask the applicant to make sure, but I believe they're going to fence the entire area. So they'd like to fence the entire area now, which is not a bad idea there. Landscaping exceeds the landscaping requirements. You can see there under the landscaping plan the amount of landscaping, and they've tried to make it so that it'll shield everything from the beautiful highway. That's what I don't understand. We probably ought to be shielding buildings from the highway, but either way. So that's really all I have. We recommend approval of the site plan as submitted. I don't know if the engineer, I'll just see if his engineer was here. Any questions?
Seems pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, is there a water retention?
Yes, there's 2 of them actually, 3 of them actually.
Those in the,
Up there's the largest one. Do we have the first page? There we go. Thank you. You can see the largest one's right there in the corner at the northeast side of it, and then there's a little one right there straight south of the building towards 223rd Street. That if you see the property, it does break both directions there. Actually, it kind of breaks even the third direction toward the junkyard, but they've managed to bring all the water to those 2 locations. And it is a ditched area.
mhm.
And I know Dan has been working with his engineer, Mr. Alan Brand, and on making it so that in the future, we could go in and curb the street and everything like that. I will tell you that there just is absolutely no way to place sidewalks in this area. You guys have, I don't know if you've seen it or not, it's really steep. And so what we were talking with the engineer about is he would, the property owner would sign an agreement saying that they would not fight a benefit district for the improvements for that. It's just on the, I mean, that is one place that I'd say it would just be a total waste of money. I don't even know if you could do it honestly without the improvements, the road improvements being started.
So this is on like the west side of the junkyard?
It's on the south side of the junkyard,
Okay.
directly south of it.
What is the purpose of this? Like, is it a
It is-
store?
No, it is a construction company. This will be offices as well as truck areas for their trucks. On page 3, do we have page 3 in there for elevations? That'll be the report.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Right there's the elevations of it. And they have on the elevations, I didn't mention it because we've been really good about getting it, some stone veneer on that and also, or wainscot, let me put it that way.
With the two exits or entrances on 223rd?
Mhm.
Did they find any impact on the traffic that goes right through there?
They're existing,
Okay.
yeah. This would, and yes, they are too close, but they are already existing and hard surfaced from the previous use of the property.
So they don't find any impact, like the traffic coming off of the highway right there?
No.
Is this a second location for them?
Second location as far as,
Doesn't Bedrock have another?
they do have another location. I'm not sure where they're located now. They were in Olathe, I know that, and then they've moved.
We're in Gardner.
Gardner now. They're in Gardner. This will be the only location here, but they're in Gardner now.
I guess what I'm saying is,
Oh.
Gardner close, or will this be, will,
Oh, I don't have any idea.
Yes.
There we go. Gardner will close.
So the second building isn't gonna be built yet?
No, it's just proposed. Well, and the reason they talked about it and just in general discussion and said, you know, get it on the plan, work your stormwater calcs in with it. Cause that's one of our biggest, on this piece of property, lucky, there's a whole big area they can run the water to. But most pieces, we're trying to, you know, if you have any future plans, let's get the stormwater calcs ran into it. But yes, that's just a proposed building at future date. My guess is, I'm not gonna speak for them, but I would say that they would probably be, another shop that may entail taking on their smaller vehicles, you know, like the pickups and things like that. Cause you can see, thank you, Ashley, all the elevations and the doors and things like that. It's a good use of the property as far as using it, what it's zoned and right next to the junkyard. You know, is it probably ideal with our comp plan that we're gonna be working on? No, but it's already there and also, but we're excited to have something go on there, honestly. And they actually have maintained it better than anyone else has. Even just,
It's been zoned M1 for a long time. I remember when I came through last time.
yeah, 2001, if I remember correctly. I was just reading through all that stuff the other day.
It seems like it was like 2012 or something like that we rezoned it M1 because it.
No, it wasn't rezoned. There was a small piece that was commercial onto the west. You are correct.
Yeah.
The corner there was always M1.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I think it
I was
was,
gonna say, it doesn't seem like it's that long
2001.
ago that we had this piece before us.
well, yeah, no, the Blackhawk was doing some commercial rezoning at the same time. If that'll give you a timeline, I think it was like 2001, if I remember reading it correctly, so.
That was before my time,
Oh, it was not.
at least on here.
I do appreciate all the landscaping.
Yes, yes. They did a real good job on that.
I move that we recommend SP 62-2002 Bedrock Concrete as presented by staff.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve SP 62-2022. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0. Then we'll move on to discussion. Sorry, reports. Discussion then reports. Status of the comprehensive plan.
Yes.
It's done. The plan is done or the agreement signed?
Thanks, guys. Jason, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had some testing done today, and Jason blew up my phone like 5 different times. So on the way here, I called him and I said, well, I'm not gonna make it enough so that we can talk, but I'll catch him tomorrow. So we had our first meeting with Shockey. We finally were able to get our legal staff to get something finished. So we had our first meeting with them Tuesday. It was a Zoom conference. And what we will have for you guys next Tuesday, we'll email it out to you, is we set up a schedule so that we can stick to those schedules. They're working on the very first thing that we're getting out is by this time next week, we're going to try and have the digital platform up. What they were waiting on today was like the city logo and a few things like that. Like, I'm not, well, you probably understand what I said, but I just want to get it going. I want to get people on that digital platform so that they can tell us what they think, and what, because there were, Thursday night, to give you a quick, we had a meeting down there sponsored by the chamber for the development right south of 199th Prairie Ridge. Thank you. And Sharon had called a few times and said, we just aren't getting many people to sign up. So I walked it. I took 2 evenings and walked it, knocked on the doors and all. And it was a real eye opener. Most of the people, I was able to talk to every person that backs up to 223rd or to 199th. I'm sorry, and most everybody they want some commercial. They don't want to have to drive all over heck to get fast food or something. They want the number one thing that they ask is, when are you going to fix the road? I mean, that was number one. They didn't care if there was 10,000 houses over there, to be honest with you. It was surprising. Now, there were some in the neighborhood, and they came to the meeting and voiced, and that's great. But, commercial is really what everybody wants. And I understand, we understand that. So, and I explained to them that the comp plan is coming up. Please voice your opinions on there. Told them they were very, very happy that they don't have to come to the meetings and all that. So in saying all that, we have the schedule worked out. There will be a couple of weekend sessions that I don't expect you guys to have to come to if you don't want to and all. It's more getting the public involved in it. And then we made sure that, we're not going to break up into all these steering committees, but we want to have the school and the chamber and everybody else involved, though, in the discussions and everything. So you will receive a schedule that we're going to stick with. I made it very clear to the consultants that, we're sticking with the schedule. And then something else that is different than what most communities do this is I told them that every meeting, the future land use guide will be there. Because we are looking at it as future land use to help guide our comp plan, to write the comp plan. Now, they at first said, well, I said, future land use, oh yeah, that'll be down the way. No, it's gonna be meeting number one, because all we have is future land use growth. And that's where we differ from a lot of communities that they're doing it in. A lot of these communities are either landlocked or darn near landlocked. And yeah, we'll work on future land use. We would just want to adjust some of the other stuff. So that will be something that will be front and center at every meeting and front and center to help staff through you guys' input and all guide this comp plan. So that's an update on it. And in saying that, in their defense, they did have quite a bit of stuff that was gonna come out tonight to you, but they just weren't looking at it like what we really need to, because, everything, like I said, everything on our plate now is gonna be growth. So, we have very few subdivisions that are left that were platted in the 90s and early 2000s and mid 2000s. There's very few of those left. So we're weeding through those. To give you an idea, Brookwood Farms, Boulder Springs, which used to be called Rose Park and used to be called Biltmore, and Dayton Creek, those were all platted way long time ago.
The only ones I can think of is across the highway,
Cross Highway.
Rogers area.
Oh, there is.
There's two over there, right?
One's commercial and one's residential. About 30 lots of residential and a little commercial over there. Now the other one, it just got platted.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but from now on, we're now in new growth. So we.
Is that the
Yeah,
only ones I can think of?
That's really about it. Truthfully, guys, we have, you can say the crossings up there, which we worked on that today. But, so you have the crossings, you have Dayton Creek, but we'll still have some final plats of Dayton Creek because they changed a lot of it with the school going in. Then you have, Rose Park, or now it's Boulder Springs, and you have Biltmore, which is now, Brookwood Farms, thank you. So that's it. That's really about what's left.
That's cleaned up fast.
It did. It did clean up fast, and we knew it would. And I think you remember, and people got tired of me saying it, when we were starting to do where we had a lot going on, but those were all subdivisions that had already been approved and all that. So in my mind, it wasn't new. And now we're at the point where we're gonna have, the rest of it should all be new. So
But we still have a lot of sewers laid,
we do have a lot of sewers laying out.
right?
Oh, yeah. No, we have miles and miles of sewer just laying out there. You are correct. I think we'll be down to one lift station though that won't be used. So that's good. We had 3 or 4, 3. So that's good. We're starting to get some of that taken care of and all. So any questions on the comp plan? And they really did have quite a bit of paperwork to send out, but it just wasn't the way we need to go about it, or the way I thought that you guys would want to go about it for sure.
So we have a work session scheduled for next, will that be our next meeting, or are we gonna schedule it before then? Since we have everybody here to get with our calendar.
Well, we can take a look at it and see if everybody wants to get something scheduled. Well, that'd be great with us.
Because when is we're scheduled to be done with this by the end of the year still, or has that been pushed back?
It's still scheduled for, it's September 2024 is what this date is for the completion.
Seems a long ways away.
Sure does, and blink and it'll be here. I can remember when my wife said, "Oh, Disney, it's a year away," and yeah. Been there and done, so do you guys wanna meet on the 27th?
April?
Yeah, or, well, that's right, and then you'll turn around and have another meeting the next week. Does it have to be on a Thursday? So if you wanna shoot some dates to me, that'd be great.
So are we still gonna try to do it every 2 weeks, like what we talked about? That'd be the 20th?
Yeah, we can do it on, well, we can't do it on the 20th, that's council. 27th, oh, we can do it on the 20th, okay.
That's why we,
Council's 13 and 27, right?
Yep, that's what they just told me, so I tried to get out of it, so. No, that'd be great, 20th be perfect, with me anyway.
so Debbie, I know that you said that you had conflicts earlier in the evening, so what time works? How
Yeah.
late do we need to?
7.
So
Seven,
need to go at
yeah.
7?
Okay.
Works for me.
And that'll give us the time to, the platform will be up by then, and to get the new schedule and all out to you, and they can give you some, now, they're very nice consultants and all that, but, you know, we just have to make sure that we stay on track of what we want, you know, and usually some of the other communities just kind of hand it to the consultant and go, and I explained to them, we're gonna be very hands-on. And, you know, we hope that the community is hands-on with us, so. So anytime, you know, and you know, with staff also, if there's something you don't like, you have to tell me, I'm not a mind reader, nor do I wanna be, Cindy. So, but, you know, just, and same way with the consultants, and they understand, so.
Are we gonna blast this all over like social media? Are we gonna put it everywhere? Anybody, the citizen can understand that we're doing this and want their feedback? Because we're gonna get this done, and the first meeting, we're gonna have somebody come in and be like, why are we doing this?
If
Ready
I,
to happen?
I will tell you, I will be surprised if we have 100 people in the community that participate. I'm not kidding you, I wish I would've wore my body cam that night and asked them if it was okay that I used it. You would just absolutely be surprised. They have 100% faith in you guys to do the correct thing.
Thursday, the meeting Thursday night?
No, the people that I walked and talked
okay.
to, yeah. And some of them did show up to the meeting. You know, they're disappointed that obviously there's not more commercial. They can only eat so much of Quick Trip, they tell me. They were happy about Quick Trip though. And then they're disappointed on our streets. And some of them that had been promised year after year after year, you know. So I think that I hope I'm wrong, but I spoke to a lot of them, and there was only one couple that showed up that actually lived against 199th. And everyone else lived within the subdivision, which is great.
What
What?
was across street?
1,300 doors and 30 acres of commercial.
No, what's the cross street? 199th and what?
Oh, it would be,
Renner.
Renner, from Ridgeview to Renner. It's Prairie Ridge. It's just east of the high school.
Very rich.
Yeah.
So can you enlighten us on some of the comments that night or how the meeting went that night?
Sure. The meeting actually went really well. I made a mistake. I should have looked over the presentation from the developer. Due to the fact, you know, there is an existing plat there. There's already an existing approved plan and the whole 9 yards. Well, they didn't bring that along with them. So you're not comparing, you know, and we tried to get it up quickly and show everybody we could and stuff like that. But overall, it went really well. The main concerns were, well, you heard from 3 of them, no apartments. Rest everybody else said, well, we really worry about it. We're more worried about the street. You know, they want to make sure it's safe. They want to make sure that the entrances that are lining up, that there's going to be traffic control there. you know, and correct traffic control. And commercial, they really do like the idea of more commercial along the front, which, you know, makes sense, but, you know, that plan's been through planning commission 2 or 3 different times, you know. And we had and the old administrator, not Hendershot, but Jonathan was there.
I was told that.
That was interesting, yeah.
I won't
But,
tell you what else I was told though.
so, well, I can say it. I mean, Jonathan, you know, he ridiculed, saying, well, you know, we're speculating on the future and all that. And I just flat said to him, well, that plan's been in place since 2003, I think is what it was, and you approved it. So that was speculation back then, still hasn't done anything. But overall, the meeting was good.
Did they talk about the senior housing piece that they had
They
brought up
did.
here?
They did. They talked
was
about
that?
that. Yeah, it was.
That was fine.
It was one of the things that is interesting. I think that a lot of people don't realize that, you know, our average age is only 39 years old in this community, and I think that you could do a maybe 50-door senior type living and be good with it. I don't believe 100-door would make it. They talked about, you know, they've changed it up where a lot more of it's residential.
They,
And
they did take out the apartments, they said.
they took them out of the front for the meeting, yeah. Yeah. And they did take them out. The thing is, where the apartments are gonna sit, they already have approval to build fourplexes.
Yeah, they said.
Yeah, so, I mean, tomato, I guess you could say, on that. It's not, I agree, it's not the density and that, fourplex would be, but right now, connected living is, and will be for quite some time, a hot commodity, just because you're gonna be able to sell those and at a lower rate than a normal house, so yes, they did take those out. And change the commercial around a little bit and some things like that, so. But the meeting went really pretty good. Everybody was really nice. I mean, one gentleman yelled at me, but I almost cried.
Should have sent you with a box of Kleenex.
He was, you know, I understand, and like I told him, I do understand, but be civil about it, you know? That's all you have to do. It was a good thing it was me and not staff. Because then I would have probably really got upset because, you know, staff wouldn't have deserved what he said. So just be civil about it, and you are one consideration that everyone will take, so. But overall, it went really well.
And so is there a time frame of when they're thinking about bringing it? Or
So what he
is he
promised
going to
them,
bring it?
yeah, he promised them that they'd get the new design out and probably hold another little meeting, but that won't stop them from coming here. So my guess is going to be that they're going to go back to fourplexes where the apartments were and push some more commercial. And then really about all the rest of it was single family. You know, there was that one small area of senior living, and I say small, I think it was 16 acres or something. But the rest was really single family. And I believe the developers also bought some other tracts in there here lately. So,
I don't know, in my opinion, I think senior housing on the north end of town makes a little bit of sense because we have a small section in the middle of the heart of Spring Hill. You have it at 223rd, and to go on the north end, then you've kind of split the town and you've got
oh, I agree.
a pick of where you want to be in the city.
Right. The only thing that bothers me is I know the senior living facilities that this developer has sold to before, our seniors won't be moving in there.
Oh, is it?
Why not?
Like a John Knox Village type deal. Very expensive. I mean, I don't mean that with any disrespect, but I think we would have a very limited amount. And what I think you would see is you would see a lot of seniors saying, oh, that's such a nice little quaint area out there will move out there. I could be totally wrong, but I just know the ones that he has sold to the builders and developers that have done those, they're pretty expensive.
Well,
So-
again, that's three different price ranges.
Oh, no, I
Well,
agree.
You know, if I live in Brookwood Farms,
Yes,
I would say at least 10 to 15% of Brookwood Farm are retired,
and would move to,
who eventually will want to
Yeah.
downsize.
and I do agree with that. And that's why I said, I think that you'd be able to fill a small area up. If we went and had a large area, I just don't think you could do it. But, and that's why I said, I mean no disrespect, and you knew that. But it's,
But again, we're
just-
offering a variety of affordability.
Yep.
And both of the ones,
and we need it.
the other two in town, as far as the last time I knew, are full, they're
They
gone.
are. Even the duplexes and all at Black Hawk and all, you know, everything's full.
That's what I thought.
It's all full. And we actually have I met with another developer, that's looking at doing something else in Black Hawk also with, senior living. So we'll see how that, I believe there's one lot left right down there by the existing nursing home or something.
I think there is.
I think there is, so that would be good to get something else down there as well. We did, connected living's a big, gonna be a big thing, but also, alternative transportation items like bike trails and all that. And we had good discussions about that. A lot of them were surprised to find out that, you know, that developer, Mr. Marketeer, he's willing to put in a sidewalk any day. He's ready. You know, it's just, how do we do the rest of it? You know, where, and after we get these plans completed with 199th and get going on that, then we'll have a better idea. But it's really, it'd be really good to connect all that to our park over off of 207th and all that, so.
When do the 199th Street improvements begin? What are the extents of it, and what is the scope of it?
Sure. So, what I know of it is it's from the roundabout to Renner, and they have picked an engineering firm that has just started working on it. But they claim that they can be started in September with the improvements.
With the design, or
No, the actual construction, they claim that they can get started then. Because I think there was already some completed with the roundabout. Scope of it is Super 2. It'd be 2-lane with a turn.
So they
No
put it out
curb.
after past Renner,
That's not in the city limits.
and the county's not gonna pick it up.
You know, I hate to even talk for the county anymore, you know, but as it used to be, the plan was a couple of years ago that they were gonna widen that all the way to 69. I don't know anymore. The political landscape's changed quite a bit, so.
After having a car go through my grandkids' fence, I sure as the heck would like to see it, something happen.
Yeah, and, you know, Josh, to bring up another point, I did ask though, if they would look at, obviously community development's not in charge of the street projects, but if they would look at maybe building half of it with curbs.
yeah, I was gonna say you said it's Super 2 without curbs.
Yeah, and I'll check and see where we're at on that, but that is one request that we had made, you know, I don't care if it's the north half or the south half. I'd prefer the north half, just because of the school and everything. Build it out with the curbs, have ditch on the south, and then all we have to do is come in and do the south half with curbs and all. I think it's a smarter use of money, but I'll check on that and see. They just issued the contract a couple meetings ago, something like that. Who was it that, HNTB, I think. I think it was HNTB received the contract to design it, if I remember correctly. I'll make sure that we get it out, and we'll get you a schedule on that as well. And that's something that I think that we can look at. Was something kind of neat about Shockey. consultant, they actually have hired a finance person that understands how the comp plan is supposed to impact finance. So, you know, we've been talking about this forever, you know, while we give all these ideas and nothing comes to fruition. And so I was really surprised. So that's a new addition, and we will have her on board as well.
Good.
So I think that'd be good.
So are we gonna have something that we can bring to the next meeting as far as like homework and stuff that we can do to prepare for it?
Right. They do. They have a whole bunch of stuff ready. It
I mean,
just,
so can we, is there something that they're gonna send out to us that we can have
Yes.
prepared? Okay.
yeah. There's a whole bunch of questions, a questionnaire of about 30 questions that I said send to us, but you know, I'll have to have the planning commission answer them, you know, in conjunction. And then what we'll do is we'll look at them, and we'll probably look at them in the meeting. You know, you'll bring them, and we'll go through and say, look, hey, here's how it's prioritized a little bit. I can't remember what the questions were, to be honest with you. So, but
There's a couple questions several months back, whenever all this started. One of my questions was looking at the areas that are still donut hold. Have we gotten any idea, or, I mean, maybe you do, but do you have anything that you can give to us that shows us our donut holes?
oh, sure. I mean, I can bring the city map in. We constantly communicate with the people of the donut holes on, especially if the property's for sale. But the way the state has changed the annexation proceedings and all, there's just no way to force annexation.
I'm just curious whether we're getting more and more donut holes the way we're growing,
No.
or if we're starting to fill some of them
Yeah,
in.
no, we are, and I can tell you, we are not getting more donut
Are we
holes.
starting to fill any of them in?
Let me think here. I know has to be one that we filled in, but I was just, well, that's been a long time ago, Preeb. He was a fill-in. Oh, and we'll have another fill-in across from him.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that'll be a fill-in. So we are filling in some, but I can tell you, just working with all the development that is coming, there's not gonna be donut holes tight knit. Now, we may have a mile,
Right.
but it's more, you know, because we're up at 175th,
Right.
you know,
right.
we.
I mean, we're not, right, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I just know several years back, it felt like we had massive donut holes.
Yes,
I don't
and-
think that we're there. I don't think where we are where we were 20 years ago.
No, we're not. And really, a lot of those donut holes were caused because of their massive sewer expansion.
Okay.
You know, there's whoever would sign the dotted line, that's the way the sewer went.
The other one is, back in the day, back with Peterman, actually, Peterson,
Dave Peterson.
we did a lot of percentages of, and I don't know how he came about them or where he got them from, but we did a lot of percentages of, this is what our percentage is of single family or duplexes or apartments. Is there any way that we can get a percentage of that and or a guesstimate of what we might need? I mean, I know it's a crystal ball. I might need in the future. Pat and I had a conversation the other day about the potential of what type of housing might be coming our way. And it's more than a might, in my opinion, that is going to be coming to Spring Hill with 3 different manufacturing companies that are going to be coming, that are coming, and will more than likely be looking for housing in Spring Hill. And we don't have the housing for them. So I just wonder if we have any, I mean,
Right.
how we would get a guesstimate of what that would be and what,
Right. So
how you go about getting that percentage, or what
I
the
actually,
percentages are now,
I actually have some numbers from MARC, Mid-America Regional Council.
right?
And we actually do have the percentages right now of existing city. And believe it or not, it's 99 to 1,
No, I'm not surprised.
single family. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, we have some that could come on board at any time, but until they start, it's still nothing, you know,
Not gonna-
pie in the sky.
It's not gonna change until somebody starts.
Exactly.
It didn't used to be that way.
And so, and I think what Cindy, and maybe, and I shouldn't take this for granted that everyone's able to keep up, but the Tyson is putting in a new processing plant. Now it's not, they're not gonna do slaughter and everything there. It's right up there, now it's up in the Home Depot area, back to the 164th or something. Then there's a meat packing company that will do beef.
Again,
That's,
not-
they won't do
slaughter,
slaughter.
just
They will
process, just
do,
packaging.
yeah, heat rendering and then packaging it. They will do a couple of different styles, like they may do a quarter and send it to Price Chopper. Or they may cut big ribeye roasts out to be cut into ribeye steak or something. And then they will also have single packaging stuff for different, I never did look up that chain's name either. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out.
All I can tell you is it's 1918.
But that's, you know, 700 jobs or something like that. And I think Tyson was, I don't know, it was 300 to 400.
And they're in Spring Hill?
No, they're
Olathe.
just right there.
Oh, they're in Olathe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, but-
so
Well,
It's
but
100
it's right
160
against
just-
us.
Just north of 175th.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, that's correct.
It's 167, it's just north of 175th.
Yeah,
The beef packing is 175th. Coke is 175th.
yeah, Coca-Cola
And
as
you've
well.
got Panasonic coming. I didn't even
Right.
count Tyson. You've got
Yeah.
4 big ones coming, and they're all right here. I mean, they're
175th and what?
169.
175th and Lone Elm.
And Lone Elm, yeah.
175th and Lone Elm is Coke. 167th and 169 is beef.
And
164th
just west of that, yeah.
And 60.
Well, having approved like 6,000 homes, I mean, they just gotta start building.
Pardon me.
Well,
We've already approved like 6,000 homes.
yeah, I
They
think,
can't afford it.
I think what we're talking about is the,
Debbie, the
Price
the start price for the beef packing is $37,000 a year. Gardner's full, Spring Hill's full, Edgerton has nothing and hasn't had anything for years.
I know, I can argue until we're blue in the face,
No,
cause I know
it's-
that's the salary I had when we bought our house, so. I have an
well, we
issue
won't quit. Oh,
with,
I'm sorry.
you know, just continually talking about building and building and building and building, and low income, low income, low income.
I'm not talking low.
No,
income.
not
No.
low income, affordable.
Not talking low
We'll
income.
still have those price point homes that we have now of 502 is our average. There's no doubt. I think what we're looking at is, don't be surprised when connected living and apartments start, we're gonna be flooded with it. And that's where we'll have to be strong on where we want it.
That's
When did those apartments start that are on Webster, the
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We met with them. They do have a proposal into us on, you know, how to connect there with the signal light and things of that nature. So we have a proposal on that. Mr. Massey and myself, the city administrator and finance will just have to get together and finish that up.
I did talk to Black Hawk Apartments after our last, meeting, and he said they always have, he said if I needed an apartment, they could get me in by May. And so he said they really don't have an issue with, having availability for folks. But, I mean, that was something that we just kinda talked about because you guys had mentioned the.
Well, that's interesting.
lower-
See, that's
I'll have to
interesting.
talk to Grant, cause
Right over there.
we have a finance director that can't get in.
I'm sorry,
so-
what's that? What did you say, Pat?
I said, I'll tell Rhonda and I'll have a talk with Grant because we have a finance director that can't get in.
Well, I'm just thinking, so you've got that, and they say they always have openings, and they do have teachers and stuff that live there. That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
he's-
they do.
Was it Mike or somebody? He said he's been a manager there ever since it opened. But, and he said I could quote him. I'll find the paperwork. I didn't bring it tonight.
That's fine.
But, he
can send
said
it.
as we, build more apartment buildings, then it means that his is not gonna be full, cause other people will,
Yeah,
be taking other space. So he just kinda talked about some of the complexities with
Right. So,
building it.
you know, 25 years ago when they built all that, I know for a fact, I know Grant and Eleanor really well, that they expect competition. And I just had lunch with Eleanor the other day and, you know, they're questioning on a few things because as there's gonna be another grocery store coming, you know, there's gonna be a lot of that stuff and it's gonna be competition, so. But yeah, I agree. But, so to your point though, is right up the road, what is that, 4 miles? We could have just 4,000 jobs right there in that whole area there. Well, if we get some apartments and we get them full, I mean, it helps us all the way around. A lot of things that a lot of people forget is we are in the water and sewer business as well. And, you know, our sewer and our impact fees and all, that really keeps the city afloat. And I can prove it. I've done the budget for a couple of years now. And luckily somebody else gets to do it. But our impact fees is what really, and then as we continue to grow, we can take those taxes and all, and it will relieve some pressure on the impact fees as far as not having to worry about collecting them all the time.
I just don't think it's our entire responsibility. I mean, there's Gardner, there's Olathe, there's a lot of other areas that we'll be building as well.
Yep.
And, you know, as I
And
was
they're
sitting here we were
all-
talking about this, I thought, you know, I kind of almost wish, because there's this group of us from Spring Hill that wish the town would stay small.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this group that wants Olathe. And I wish there was some way to divide that. Give us Spring Hill, you take Olathe. And I don't know how to compromise on that.
Well, we can.
I mean, Olathe will come down here and surround us anyways.
Well,
Either we grow and we do the things we need to do, or Olathe is gonna surround us. and block
here's
us
the truth of the
But I think
matter.
we can grow
Overland
Olathe
Park's
still
surrounding
maintains our
us.
I was gonna say, it's
small
not
town
Olathe that's
image.
coming after, us, it's Overland
Olathe,
Park.
Overland Park.
Both.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's Overland Park.
They're gonna come and they're gonna surround us and
But here's what I hope to accomplish with the comp plan is, and anytime you think that Overland Park can't eat us up in a half a minute, they can. They need 4 major properties and they've got us. That's all there is to it.
I can name 2 of those.
But, and that's fine. It's just, I hope that we can get the comp plan to resolve some of this. Because we need a good comp plan that, you know, I'll just use this area here. We don't want to be bothered by anything else, okay? Then we look at that and we say, okay, that's good. Maybe out in your area, on 207, they don't want anything else, you know. But you also have to be observant and careful of property rights. If I own a piece behind you and you stop me from selling it, I'm suing.
I'm not afraid
And-
of
No.
suing or threats like that, because
Well,
I do think
it's
the
not
plan does need to take care of that. But I think our job, from what I've read, is to be able to guide the planning, and it doesn't say afraid
Exactly.
of getting sued if you don't
No,
do what
no,
somebody
no,
wants.
I'm not.
It's do what we think is best for the city.
Okay, so let me give you a quick example, Carvana property owners out there. You know, we got in that lawsuit. We didn't go ask them. They wanted to come to Spring Hill to help the community. So I'm not saying it's a threat, it's a reality. You know, we won in Supreme Court on property rights. So, but on the same token, what I'm getting at is I hope that we can get this comp plan to be creative, and the areas that don't want to grow, that's fine. But in my mind, you know, and I want the community to be what the community wants to be. So,
Debbie,
and I
honestly
agree
don't
with you.
disagree. As much as I sit here and say we need this, we need that.
No,
It's my opinion. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't-
I didn't want apartments across the street from my front door. I didn't want to look out and see manufacturing out my front door. Mark and I moved to this town over 40 years ago when it was 1,200 people. 1,200 people. But at the same token, I'll flip that around. I don't like seeing the millions of dollars that this city has spent in the last 3 years on attorney fees, on attorney fees, because we continually find people that sue us.
Yeah, we don't want.
We cannot, my taxpayer dollars are not being spent to be sued. My taxpayer dollars are being spent to get roads fixed. I want sidewalks. I don't want to be sued.
And I certainly hope that we can, and not really, if you tell me you don't want any more growth on 207th, if that's the consensus, that's fine with me. But I do know we still have to grow some. And DeSoto, they're facing up there something crazy, you know, and they just approved, I think it was 1,300 apartment doors the other night, and there's like DeSoto.
Oh,
Because of the battery plant, I'm sorry, I'll speak up.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, and so everybody's feeling the pressure. And luckily for us, we're already have a comp plan funded to do it. So I think it's gonna be fun, cause I just wanna see how everybody reacts.
So I heard that DeSoto has 4 subdivisions that are going in, new subdivisions, is that correct?
Yes, and Lawrence, they are saying now they only want so many building permits. And people, you can hear all kinds of stories, but it really is, they're starting to get low on water. I mean, you know, Clinton Lake is supplying Wellsville, Baldwin, Edgerton, a portion of Edgerton, and themselves, you know, Lawrence. So they're really having to look at that. And that's something that we have to be mindful of. Luckily, Water One has all kinds of good planning.
I think in the comp plan, we just need to really look at, be cautious and diligent about, and this is where I have no clue what this stuff looks like, but the facades that we put on it and
Yes.
I don't want to say the structure, I'm not talking about the interior structure.
Understand.
The facades and the way the buildings look and the landscape plans and making it fit what we want the image of Spring Hill to look like.
Exactly.
And not just accepting any thrown up toothpick thing that comes along like we have in the past.
Well, and, you know, I hope you guys realize that staff has nothing to stand on behind that. So far, everyone has been very receptive in just putting the wainscot on and stuff like that. If you go by the hardware store, they're the ones that call our bluff.
But that's what I'm saying,
You know.
if we put some more teeth into that comp plan.
Well, that's what I mean. We want it, because
We need to put the teeth
we
in
can open
there.
it up and say, here you go.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know how to put that teeth in there. I'm counting on
Oh, yeah.
you
It's,
guys that understand that verbiage, because I don't know
And-
what that is.
and the other thing is too, in growth and all that, but I also really, really want to work on making sure that the CIP is put in correct places.
Right.
Streets, sidewalks, things that this body here has been asking for ever since I can remember. So, and the comp plan can guide that.
And we can guide that into the old city?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can, because you know, you're gonna set it up on improvement areas.
Okay,
We can do some overlays on, you know, this is an overlay district that we want this overlay curbed in the next 10 years. You know, we have to have reasonable expectations, but still can do that. You know, it's just like I ask, and it doesn't matter to me, I just still think that the downtown should be put in some sort of industrial overlay, you know, due to the tracks and all. But if it's not, and you guys so choose, I really believe then you need to do some protective overlay district there that is gonna guarantee some funding that goes down in that area. Because, you know, there's one commercial business getting ready to move out of there. They're building a new building in another area. So they just, you know, so anyway. All right, that's all I really have. Everything went through, council. I'm sorry I talked so long, but, we'll get a lot of information out before
Are you
too
moving
long.
on to reports? Are you moving on to reports?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Ready for reports.
Okay, everything went through.
Unless somebody else has more discussion, so I'm not trying to cut anybody off.
Went through council, and then the other report that I have is we are working with, we're working to have the crossings out there, Spring Hill Crossings, 191st and the railroad tracks. So from 169, you're gonna go east, right before the railroad tracks, you know, all the foundations that have been sitting there for years and all this. We made some headway today on it, and hopefully we'll get that all cleaned up here this year. It won't be immediate, but we did make some headway on it today with some people. Then what else do I have? We have quite a few plats. We have the revised landscape drawings that'll be coming back. And like those landscape drawings, we might place those on the 17th meeting. If you remember the landscape drawings that we actually had to be on, we did,
Right.
we had them.
Isn't that just gonna
We
be a
just-
work session?
Yes, but, well, what we might do is have that one, just a few cleanup items that are,
So it won't be a work session, it'll be actually a meeting then.
well, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm just trying to clarify.
Right, we might have a couple cleanup items though, like that landscape plan, and other than that, I don't think I have too much else. If you have any questions.
Did you watch the Always and Forever meeting?
No, they keep trying to drag me in that and I just don't bite.
Yeah, they brought you up.
Oh, I know. And
Spring Hill made no comment either way.
that's right. And I mean, I don't
They
understand it.
continued it. They didn't.
Is that what happened? They call me, and I just don't think that we have a dog in the fight.
I don't think you do either. But
you
I'm just
know,
saying, I just
and
wondered if.
I understand, yeah.
What meeting are you talking about? I guess I missed all that.
Always and Forever is, well, it's through Miami County, but they're trying to expand and take over the Miami County pound. Well, they already have in Osawatomie.
Oh,
Right.
They wanna
right.
put it on their property on the 40 acres.
Oh.
And all the surrounding, homeowners are against it. I
Right.
think
Okay.
there's gonna be smells and noise and all this other stuff, but they're not gonna take away any of the trees or anything existing on the property. It's really beautiful. I'm
really
for
pretty.
it.
Yeah,
I'm like, it should be.
And-
If they did it in Spring Hill, it would have already been approved, but.
sure,
um,
right. And I agree, but
Yeah, I heard
I just don't think that the city actually has a dog in that fight on that
Yeah.
part,
The big thing is that they're talking about, the traffic.
Oh, I'm
So
sure,
got that-
I'm sure that's an easy line fruit to grab.
But they've already had a traffic study
Yeah,
done
it's-
that said that
And
it
then they-
wants to increase it, but.
And then they
they're
called it
just arguing it.
farce.
What's that?
Did you listen to the meeting?
Yeah, uh-huh.
They called it. They called out the traffic study as not
That's,
valid.
Right, and they spent like $6,000 on it. I mean, it is
how does it
valid.
not
I know,
valid?
it's
And-
whatever. The street's gonna expand whether they want it to or not. I mean, just like I'm sitting here and I'm saying, don't,
Right,
I know
right.
it's coming, but I can still say
Yeah.
don't.
yeah,
But,
sure. No, that's, and the thing that anytime people start saying that my kid's gonna get hit, or the traffic study's invalid and all, they just don't have any respect for me.
Well, I tell you what.
I
as much
just
as-
don't think that that's
There's plenty of
correct.
other things I wish that we would have done, security wise and safety wise, that A&F is doing out there. Double gates, double fences.
Oh, out here,
It's like, I don't know what else you want them to do to make things safe.
yeah.
And that's what they're doing, yes, the double
Yeah.
fences,
Oh, right.
double gates and all that stuff, and she even said if this was 5 years ago, she's like, I'd tell you not to approve us either, but they've learned so much in 5 years.
Sure.
And they're just, I don't know, I just think they're amazing, so.
Well, just so all of you know, I mean, I just have yet to respond to it because the city administrator and I talked about it, and we just do not believe that we have a dog in the fight.
No.
Oh, that's a punt. We don't have that's terrible, and I didn't even think about that until right then. But I think the neighborhood should determine, and truthfully, I don't know what the problem is with it. My own personal opinion. So,
I just think it's better than a Purina dog food plant.
oh my.
So I'm thinking, pick your battle. You've
If
got
you ever want, go to Emporia and just sit down there for a day, and you get all kinds of crazy smells.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Is 223rd a truck route?
so
Will it be?
well, there is some discussion about that. To the west will not be apparently,
Oh, okay,
but
okay,
that's what they're telling us.
okay.
And how do you?
And that's something we're going to have to determine on our comp plan. Sorry.
How do you guys ever educate whoever you guys are? How do you ever educate all the truckers on what is and what isn't a route they can take?
I don't know. I think that
You
my
get a fat ticket
own
once or twice and you can knock it.
Yeah, but I think my own personal opinion on this is you're gonna see that there's gonna be all kinds of council meetings where we're gonna have to have portable scales and we're gonna have to have this and that. Those tickets will never pay for everything on that. One vehicle costs us 60 grand. By the time you put lights on it and everything else. And trucks, same way. Portable scales, $100,000. and then you have to certify it, it just goes on, so I don't know. And that's gonna be a great discussion that we're gonna have on truck routes. I'm excited about that one. 199th, 223rd, you name it, we're gonna talk about it. So, anyway, well, thanks, everyone, and we'll get some
Dispatch
additional information out to
Is
you.
how it usually goes. When I did it, you know your area, if you're in local, if you're going out.
Yeah, it's just,
Guess
there'll
what?
be plenty of complaints. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do, we're gonna just start pulling our trailers around with our tractors.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Because they're gonna stop every farmer even though they're not supposed to. And that's an hour of wasted time. So we just pull with our tractors, but could I see you after the meeting, Mary?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you the one that's talking about the 191st in Ridgeview? If we extend out the subdivision there or not?
That one was pulled.
Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek? By the new middle school? Oh, we got a letter saying that it's gonna be discussed in this meeting.
Oh, no.
It will be the next meeting.
I wonder what they were doing.
I move we adjourn.
Poor lady.
Oh, I didn't get
Okay, so moving on to announcements from planning commissions. Anybody have any announcements to make?
will do.
Any reports from anybody else other than that?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and adjourned, motion's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 8-0. Thank you.
Oh, God.